Hello, everyone. So good to see you again. Welcome back. Welcome back. If you know me and you were friends and you're familiar with my work, please say hello. Please comment throughout what stands out for you, your questions. I just love interacting with you and serving you more. If you're new here, I'm very happy to meet you. Please introduce yourself and just say hi. And again, same with you. Interact as much as you want, as much as you can. I always appreciate that. So today is about communication, something that everybody wants to talk about. It's the main thing. Now, the trick here is that women communicate a lot, like with each other, more so than we see men doing. And we can get the impression that we know how to do it, right? And we are pretty good, I must say. However, if you're here, it means that somehow it's not working in your marriage or with the man in your life. And so I'm going to share with you today the 3 common pitfalls that smart, caring, loving women fall into when trying to communicate with their husband. So let's start by saying you've probably tried some of the things, right? You've tried being a little bit more silent, not bringing up as much, or maybe you've tried bringing up everything to make sure he knows what's going on with you. Maybe you've tried a particular protocol like nonviolent communication or some kind of conscious awareness practice. And yet, despite all this clarity you have with yourself and your desire to communicate, you might still be getting responses that don't feel good. You might still be feeling like he either shuts down or he lashes back or he says, yeah, but then nothing changes. So, communication is like the tip of the iceberg in a relationship. That's why everybody's talking about it. Like, well, our communication isn't good, or we're crossed wires, or it doesn't feel good. Like maybe you're getting your points across most of the time, but it doesn't feel good to speak with your man. You're kind of like, you feel frustrated or thwarted, or maybe you feel a little repressed, like you can't really express yourself fully in that space. So I'm going to let you know what the 3 things are today and help you to gain a new awareness of the nuances that happen in communication. So these 3 things are not words you say. They're not, um, you know, even tone. They come from your energy. They come from your beliefs and your thoughts and your expectations. Essentially, your orientation, your purpose in communicating. So when you have something to say to your man, there's 3 things that usually come up if it's not going well. The first one is entitlement. And this one goes along with my husband should X, right? He should hear me out. He should listen without fixing. He should be responsive to what I say. He should do what I say. If I ask nicely, why is he not doing the things, right? This is entitlement. This is the idea that there are entitlements I have in this relationship and my husband is not doing them. This might not come across as like princess behavior, or, when we think of entitlement, we think of this woman who's just like doesn't have any responsibility or maturity and she's just expecting the world to revolve around her. That's not the kind of entitlement I mean. That one is pretty easy to spot. I'm talking about these memes in our culture, a man should do this for a woman. It should be easy. A good man will do X, Y, Z. And it's not that they're all wrong, right? It's not that there are not things you legitimately need in your relationship. It's just that the energy of entitlement will transmit to your husband, to your man, and it will light a little fire in him. And that little fire will distract him from listening to you. That little fire will not be gaining his attention because he can feel the demand in that. So when there's an entitlement, there's an energy of demanding. This must happen or else. Now, maybe you've actually used those words when you were at your wit's end. I don't blame you. But even when that's something we carry in our body, like, how dare this happen, right? Now, does that mean you can't have expectations? You can't have standards? You can't have needs? Absolutely not. You need to have a sense of worthiness, that all your feelings matter, that all your desires matter, that everything that is coming up in you is worthy of expression. However, that doesn't mean you're entitled to anyone else's behavior. Not your man, not your kids, not your mom. Nobody owes you anything. Now you might think, I'm married, this is a contract, etc. Yeah, but that doesn't work, right? It's not like you can go back to the papers and be like, it says here you would be faithful, right? People still cheat because in the end, we're all free agents. We all can do whatever we want. So when we fully embody that your husband is free to act however he please, to do nothing, to do everything, to say nothing, to say everything, we can help to remove this entitlement from our language and from our energy. Okay. Doing this will free up space for him to hear you. It'll free up space for him to take action. Okay. The second mistake that smart, conscious women make is we judge our husbands. And this comes a little bit from my last video about diagnosing and being in his lane. You can go back and watch that if you want, where I talk about how we tell stories about our husband. So when we're telling stories about our husband in our head, we're essentially judging him. We're making judgments, analysis, critique, diagnosis. That's all a judgment, right? So when we say, I called him out, that's a judgment. Calling out your husband doesn't really work, okay? It's again, it's a meme in our society that men need to be called out more, and it's absolutely self-sabotaging in a romantic relationship. Even in a non-romantic setting, calling men out, like women calling men out, generally doesn't inspire anyone. It doesn't inspire them to change, doesn't inspire them to listen, generally inspires a lot of resistance, lights a big fire. Remember, I'm talking about this fire that's lighting up in him? So judgment is when we say, you aren't listening, you aren't paying attention, you are distracted, you don't care about me, you don't care about my feelings. Work is more important to you. See how those are all statements about him that we have determined to be true? They might not be true, and they might be true, right? But it's not your job to be his judge. You see how there's a superiority to that? You're sitting up here on the judge platform, and he's down there, the accused. And it's like, you, my friend, are out of line. That is a mother energy that is disciplining a child, right? We're calling out behavior. We're saying this is wrong and you can't do it that way. So if you find yourself telling your husband what he is, what he's doing, how he's doing it, that is you projecting your discomfort into a judgment. So for example, I'll give you one example of this. Say you are chatting with your husband and he pulls out his phone, right? And you're like, oh, fire lit up in you, right? The judgment is you're always on your phone. That would be the finite statement judgment. Always and never, not a good idea, but might come out. You're always on your phone, or you never listen to me, or work's more important to you than me, or you're always distracted. All those things will elicit defensiveness. So what do you say? Do you stay silent? No, you don't just simmer and seethe. You're going to say something. So you might say something, hey, hon, I'm feeling insignificant right now, or I'm feeling sad right now. And he's like, what are you talking about? And you say, well, I was really enjoying our conversation. I was having a good time talking to you. And when I saw the phone come out, my heart sank. And then you stop. So you can see how you're not saying about what he does. You're not interpreting his behavior with judgments. You're expressing genuinely your feelings, your excitement, your disappointment, whatever. And if you have to describe something, you're describing it in a passive sense. The phone came out, not you took out your phone and started scrolling on God knows what nonsense that isn't important. It's just, I saw the phone come out and I felt, right? And if you can be in touch with those emotions when you say them, and you're not feeling entitled to him keeping his phone away, then it's going to be more likely that that transmission of your feelings will truly get across to him, and he'll be able to go, oh, when I do that, she feels this way. Now, it doesn't mean in that moment he's going to stop, because we're not doing this to control him or manipulate him. We're doing it to give him the best chance to really see us and feel us. We're doing it to create emotional safety and expansiveness between us so that there's the best chance for that emotional bond to happen. It's not about changing behaviors in the moment or controlling him, but it's more likely that he will take your feelings into consideration when you express them this way. Okay, I just got to check my notes here. What was the third thing I was going to say? Judgment, entitlement. Oh, the good one. This is the one. This is the big one. Blame. Blame is rife in our communication. And you're not a bad person if you do this. Like, this doesn't mean you're not a conscious woman. This doesn't mean that you're, mean. It's a innate tendency from all of us, because we weren't taught anything different, that when our feelings are hurt, when feelings come up, we project the cause of that onto the person in front of us, our husband. So, for example, it's a common one, he doesn't respond to you when you're talking to him. So say he's on the couch, maybe he's looking at his phone, maybe he's watching TV, and you start talking to him and he doesn't answer you, right? And you don't know if he heard you, you don't know if he's ignoring you, you don't know any of it, right? And so you have some feelings come up. Perhaps you feel anger and irritation. That's probably the first one. A little fire gets lit, right? And then you're thinking, he makes me so angry. He irritates the shit out of me. This man who doesn't even respond when I'm talking to him, right? So the story starts grinding, which includes blame. So because that thought's in your mind, when you go to him and say something about it, he's going to feel the blame. He's going to feel the projection of your emotions onto him. Now, this is always a hard one, because people will be like, well, don't we affect each other? Like, doesn't our behavior elicit and evoke emotions in our partners? 100% they do. So it's not to say that it's not an obvious correlation that he did the thing and you felt the feeling, right? But the distinction here, and this is really important, is that your feelings are always your responsibility. They are never caused by someone else. They are never someone else's fault, and they are never to blame. They are responsible for their behaviors. It's not that they are off the hook for everything. It's just that when I'm talking to you and I'm dealing with you, we're going to talk about your feelings being yours. He did not make you mad. Now, do I do this perfectly? God, no. Do I do this perfectly with my kids? No. This is a advanced leading edge of effective, beautiful chemistry making communication, because those little nuances of blame and of judgment and of entitlement, they put little blocks between us and our partner, because they hack at the emotional security, the emotional safety. Because when your partner feels blamed or judged, or he feels you're entitled to him, he's going to put up little micro barriers around his heart. And when that happens to him, you're going to feel the chill, you're going to feel the distance, you're going to put micro barriers around your heart. And then little by little, it's like accretions and layers are built around our hearts. And it's like cold roommate scenario, right? So how do we communicate without blame? Well, going back to the cell phone example, or the one where he doesn't answer you, you can say, hey, hon, you can go over to him, touch his arm, or look at him, say, hey, hon, I have something to share. I'm wondering if you heard me just now. And if he says, no, I didn't hear you, you can say, oh, I felt really sad because I thought you were ignoring me, or I felt really sad because I was excited to share something with you. I thought you were ignoring me is a little bit of a judgment, but at least you're attributing it to your own thoughts. So you can just say, because I was excited to share something with you, or I really need your help right in this moment if it's something urgent. And you're not saying to him or in your head that he has bad intentions, that he's hurting you, that he's somehow deficient as a person. All that cleaning up of your own energy, first of all, will make you much lighter. You won't be carrying all those resentful stories, but also it will make it much easier for you to communicate effectively. So let's recap here. 3 common pitfalls that conscious women fall into is 1, blame, and communicating your complaints and your frustrations using blame energy or blaming words, judgments, telling a man what he is or isn't doing, or what he is or isn't thinking, how he is. You are narcissistic, you are selfish, you don't care, you're a workaholic, you're obsessed with your work, whatever. All those things are big judgments, and they are going to cause distance between you. Blame, judgment, entitlement. Entitlement is this culture of, I'm worth it. I shouldn't, I deserve it all, right? Well, here's the thing. You can have it all. You are worthy of it all. I want you to have it all, and you can. But you won't get it through an energy of entitlement. That is the little trick right there. So how do you communicate? You share what you're feeling, you share it without blame, judgment, or entitlement, and you share it early and often. That's what I always say. Just keep speaking. It's that feedback. First of all, you're unloading your basket. You are lightening your load by speaking and not stuffing things down here. You might feel choked up if you don't speak up enough. And then also, he's learning who you are. Now he's interacting with reality because he's actually seeing the impact that he has on his environment. Or he's actually learning who you are, what your sensitivities are, what your triggers are, what you need to feel good, right? This is an ongoing practice. This is the long game, my friends. This is the long game. That's why I love working with married women or women who are in committed relationships, because we have this long horizon perspective. It's like, I want to have this beautiful, connected, great communication 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. I want it to keep getting better, which means I have the mindset of an investor, of investing in myself, of investing now, of putting little coins in over and over and over again, both within my self-care and my self-love, and in my respect and honoring of him, and in my genuine, heartfelt communication. When you keep doing this and you don't do it with a short-term mindset, oh, I haven't seen the payoff today. Oh, he didn't respond how I wanted tomorrow. Oh, this stuff's never going to change. I'm not going to invest in this person. I'm going to choose someone new. You're not going to see the results, right? Now, if you do this for 5 years and you see zero change, you can probably guarantee there'll be zero change forever. And then you might have hard decisions to make. But I haven't seen that, because it's actually difficult to change your patterns of thinking and acting as a woman. It's actually takes a lot of awareness and a lot of trial and error, a lot of courage, a lot of vulnerability to be like, I'm stepping up to the plate again. I'm going to try this. Maybe I didn't do it perfect last time. I'm going to try it again. It really takes an attitude of a bit of a scientific, I'm just experimenting. I'm playful. I'm trying this thing out. Not about my self-worth, not about his self-worth, right? So if this resonates with you, please comment below. Let me know what part stood out for you, what parts you have questions about. I love making these videos for you, and I love making them based on the questions you offer, which makes them even more applicable and relevant to what's going on with you. If you love this video, please share it with a friend and invite them to our group. And if you want coaching, or you want to get all my content distilled in one place that you can work through systematically, that's my Happily Married Woman program. Or if you just want me in your pocket, voice memo, texting, and weekly calls, that's my one-on-one coaching. Both are wonderful. Both can get you huge results. It just depends on what season you're in and what you're looking for. Thank you so much for honoring your own hearts, your own desires. Thank you for being radically countercultural and respecting and honoring your husband as well, and for spending your most precious resource in being here today. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.